Ladies, today we're here to talk about dating in the digital age. Over the past few years, we've all had to make a lot of adjustments and adaptations to our changing global environment, especially in light of recent health concerns. A big part of that has been that many things that used to occur in person started to take place online, from working to interviews to even dating. Now that we are all coming out of that global health situation, some of us may still be looking to utilize online as a way to meet new people, to explore connections, and to really start to see what's out there. Because when it comes to love and intimacy and connection, there might just be that burning desire to really get to know what could be possible, what might be available around you that is beyond your immediate social circle. So if you are in that situation, what should you do to really make sure that when you are meeting people from online, that you are sort of enchanting them, that you are captivating them, that you're compelling this man to want to see you further, to forego all other options, all this other potential, and get to know you a little bit better? How can we really move the needle to make sure that these experiences that we're dedicating ourselves to are worth the time and worth the effort and really pay off, and making sure that we're making quality connections? Well, that's what this video is going to be all about. Now, my name is Azalea Dawn, and this is the Feminine Mystery. On my channel, I'm dedicated to increasing your clarity with regards to your vision of your feminine future. So if that sounds like something that would be right for you, please feel free to subscribe, and without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I would suggest is that you avoid the social dater like the plague. Now, what is a social dater? Well, a social dater is a term that I use to describe people who date as an extension of their social lives. Essentially, what this looks like in practice is a man who dates as something to do, as a way to socialize. Usually, this guy doesn't have a lot of close personal friends in his life. He doesn't really know or have connections or friendships with people that are purely platonic in nature and that consume his time. So in order to socialize, in order to meet his social needs, he might be going on a lot of dates. And that can look like, if he is maybe in a certain city where he lives full time, he might travel to another city for the weekend and get a hotel, whip out an app, whether that is Hinge or Bumble or Tinder or all three. He's probably on multiple dating apps, right? And he's just checking out what talent, so to speak, that city has to offer. He might book, a date or two, dates for every day of the weekend that he's there, because he's just looking to meet people. He's looking to have fun. He's looking to get to know people genuinely, and there's no further expectation of anything beyond that. And this might sound like a very cool and casual sort of thing, but honestly, I think that this is, especially if you are a woman who is serious about looking for somebody that you can spark a connection with or have a future with, this guy is the classic waste of time. He genuinely has no expectations of finding a relationship through dating. He is essentially using it as a form of entertainment. And that usually means that there's a very low threshold for the kind of person that he will go out with. So he might be going out with, a stressed out single mom of like 3 kids just to see what it's like. He might be going out with a woman who has a religious background that he does not agree with. He might go on dates and engage in incendiary behavior in order just to get a reaction, or play other sort of manipulative games just to kind of entertain himself. And above all else, he is somebody who is not going to invest in any particular woman that he's seeing. Now, the first sign of a social dater, in my opinion, is that this is a guy who does not want to pay for the date. He is making it clear from the start, that he is a 50-50 kind of guy. He does not want to do anything essentially to invest in you. He might want to get something casual like lunch or coffee. He might be open on an odd day, maybe at a time when most people are working, like a Tuesday at 3 p.m. He might be somebody who just wants to get coffee or get, tea at like breakfast or something like that. He's somebody who is essentially just looking for entertainment, and therefore he doesn't want to spend a lot of money on this. He doesn't want to be spending 50, 100, $200 on a dinner when he's going to be doing that 4, 5, 6 times, maybe a total of 20 times in a month. He just doesn't have the finances for that, probably, because again, this is somebody who, instead of working and attending to his career, he is instead wasting his personal time going out on these dates where he's not really interested in a connection with somebody else. So that is the number one red flag to differentiate yourself away from a social dater. I would say that you should always expect a man to invest in you and to be willing to pay for the date, because at the end of the day, that's the best way to qualify your buyer, to know that somebody is serious about you and is serious in regards to themselves, that they are really looking for people that they are going to have a quality connection with, and they're willing to do more than your competition to make sure that you're going out on Saturday night with him. Next, ladies, you want to let him make you feel like the only girl in the world. One bad habit I noticed that a lot of people in general, both male and female, who go out on dates online tend to do is they like to talk about their experience dating on the app or being on the app or wherever they've met in this digital space. They like to talk about it as if it's just an activity that they're both partaking in. And I can see where the impulse comes from. Finding common ground with someone else just to facilitate conversation is a very natural thing. That said, you don't want to turn it into a thing where you're starting to compare notes and introducing this dynamic that feels like you are casual friends or platonic friends. That really starts to ruin the sensual energy, let's say, between a man and a woman. When you are there with him on the date, you want to make reference to no other woman, no other girl. You don't want to talk about exes. You don't want to talk about past relationships. I know you may feel like you generally do want to talk about it, but you can save it for another time. You want to get to know the person in front of you and really make sure that you are enchanting, using this as an opportunity to enchant instead of interview. You want to make sure that you are really setting a foundation that suggests that you are this desirable, sensual, dynamic girl that he would like to get to know more about. And you also want to let there be a little bit of a layer of mystery there. So you can't just put everything out there all at once. So instead of talking about other people, exes, the past, or anything like that, you want to let him make you feel like you're the only girl in the world. And take note, if he does attempt to bring up other women, you can gently steer the conversation away from that. Maybe he just doesn't have a lot of dating skills, but if he keeps on going back and back and back, and especially a big red flag is if he's asking you for advice on what he can do better in terms of attracting other women, that's just your sign to make this the last time that you see him, unfortunately. Next up, ladies, it's dinner Saturday night, and yes, he pays. Now, I understand that this might seem a little bit draconian, right? These rigid, hard rules about the way that a date must be. It's not very casual, cool, flexible, or anything of that nature. And I think that's why there's so much appeal in being a little bit of a contrarian and doing a little something different, having coffee on a Tuesday morning, or, getting like breakfast on a Sunday. But I say these things for a reason. I think that we all kind of view ourselves as the exception until we have experiences that suggest that that is maybe not the case. But honestly, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true, unfortunately. It's dinner, it's Saturday night, and yes, he has to pay. So why is that? Well, dinner on a Saturday night, that is prime real estate. So think about it like the real estate market. There's usually in any particular city a very high-end, affluent place, a very desirable place to live. and houses in that area simply cost more than others because that is the prime real estate. Well, Saturday night is prime social real estate. That is the time when other people do the things that they are most passionate about, most excited about, where they do the things that they're really looking forward to for the rest of the week. So anything that a person is doing on Saturday night, that is their priority. And when it comes to men, if he is maybe seeing another girl on a Saturday night and he's going to see you maybe on Friday or Thursday, the girl that he's seeing on Saturday night, she is the priority. She is the one that he made plans with, that he has dedicated time with for, that he is going to, spend all day on Saturday doing whatever he needs to do to get himself in the right headspace, looking his best. Maybe he's shaving, getting together a particular outfit, going to the gym, whatever he needs to do, right? And then he's getting ready for that Saturday night dinner. And if you don't believe me, some of you maybe have worked in the service industry or have worked in a restaurant before. You know firsthand it is true. Saturday night is that prime social real estate. And if he's not giving you dinner on a Saturday night, that is a sign that you are simply not his priority. And you should understand that and move accordingly. Ladies don't provide unsolicited feedback. This, I feel, is probably the biggest bit of game-changing advice, because I see so many girls who make this mistake of providing this unsolicited feedback. And if you are dating, especially in a particular social circle, it's one thing if you're dating online, but when you really start to date in person with other people that you know, this is what causes you to get the label of crazy, right? So when people, either male or female, start talking about you, they start describing you as the crazy girl. You are essentially branded that way because you've made this big mistake of providing unsolicited feedback. Now, what does unsolicited feedback actually look like? Well, you might be somebody who has like a little bit of trauma around something. Maybe it's ghosting or anything of that nature. You feel like you have been in a situation where you wanted answers, you wanted some level of closure, you felt maybe a little bit rejected. And now it's like your, eagle in the sky mission to make sure that that doesn't happen in the world. This is like your way of like righting that wrong that has happened to you. So you wind up being the kind of girl who over explains yourself and your decisions to other people. You wind up, after a date, you're writing these multi-paragraph text messages or messages in an app to send to another person explaining why you wouldn't like to see them again or what the problem was, whatever. You are essentially providing feedback that this man did not ask for. Especially when it's long form, this is what creates the label of she's crazy. The way that you want to change and pivot this is that you want to let somebody else ask you for feedback. And when that ask is made, you don't want to give in to them on the first time that they ask you either. You don't want to start responding with paragraphs just because somebody asked you, oh, is there something that I did that upset you? And now you have 8 paragraph text messages ready to go to send just to get something off your chest or to vent. You want to save that for a licensed therapist. If somebody asks you if they could have done something better, if they open the door for feedback, let them get more specific, right? Let them give you more detail. Ask them questions instead and say, well, is there anything that you maybe felt a little insecure about? Is there anything that you felt like you could have done better? Or is there anything in particular that you're looking to work on? And once they open the door to a very specific issue, maybe something that they are self-conscious about, especially if that's a very simple issue like not paying at the end of the date or something like that, that is where you can give short, concise, very brief, we're talking 2 sentences or less, feedback along those lines. And that's how you avoid being labeled as the crazy girl. I'm just being honest and very real, very open about this because I've seen it happen so many times to so many beautiful girls Ladies, my final bit of advice here is don't be too available on any particular app. Now, this is critical because a lot of people on these apps are window shoppers. Did you know that most of the people who are on dating apps, such as Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, did you know that most of these people, just according to statistical surveys, are already married or in relationships? They are also window shoppers. It is a huge pastime for people in the world to essentially be on these apps and just swipe and see what the talent, quote unquote, is like in their city. They want to see who's desirable. They want to see who is, out there. A lot of women, and I understand that this is in the territory of crazy behavior, but I'm just, being honest. I'm not saying that I do this. Absolutely not. But I know for a fact that they have fake profiles set up as men, essentially. It's a little catfish. And it's not for them to like be weird or creepy or, see anything like sexual in nature. It's for them to essentially size up what the competition is like in their city, because that's a little bit of like a neurotic thing that like a lot of women tend to do. This is the kind of thing that is going on in these apps. So you never know who is really looking at you, seeing your profile, and looking with a little bit of that evil eye going, oh yeah, she's still on the app. It's been 2 months and she's still on the app. It's been 8 months and she's still on the app. She's still swiping. You don't want to be that kind of person. You don't want to be the house that is left sitting on the market. You want to make sure to pull yourself off, right, off the MLS, so to speak, and really make sure that you are not sitting on any particular dating website or dating app too long. Honestly, I recommend, and this is just a recommendation, no more than 3 weeks. 4 weeks, absolute max. But after 3 weeks, everybody who is interested in you, who is really going to make a move and really take it to something serious with you, they know, right? They have already seen you, they've seen your profile, they've swiped on you, and they've sent you a message. And they have, if they are alpha enough, right? If this man is alpha enough, he has scheduled an in-person date with you. Anybody who's just kind of a window shopper, a lurker, they have to be cut off. They don't need to be seeing your new pictures. They don't need to be seeing how often you're updating your profile or anything else that these sort of like weird window shopper types like to look at, for pleasure. You want to make sure that you are cutting off people who are not serious and making sure that there is no unnecessary eyes just kind of like giving you the evil eye and essentially working, sending out bad energy against you. So that's just my 2 cents there. Make sure to pull yourself off these apps very quickly. Now, ladies, if you have watched this video all the way to the end, thank you so, so much. I have been essentially traveling a little bit for vacation, a little bit for work all summer, and it's been so, so busy. I am looking so forward to getting back on my channel more often as we move into fall. I love the season, and I am looking so forward to the newest round of videos that I will be uploading. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you enjoy these sort of Pinterest style, really good Pinterest scroll type of videos with life-enriching advice for you to be able to tackle the challenges that are most prevalent to you on your feminine journey, then please subscribe to my channel, because I'll be uploading so many more topics that really pertain to that topic over the coming months. So feel free to keep up with me by subscribing, and I will see you in my next video.